In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the business advice that I've acquired through reading 8 books over the past 12 months. The books I've read have focused on marketing and on sales. The reason is because this was an area where I wanted to personally develop in. As I spent a lot of time developing skills in video production, I wanted to learn how to market and sell my skills effectively. The 8 books I'm going to be talking about are in no particular order. They're just as I remembered them. I wrote them down and wrote some points about them, and I'm going to be covering what I learned from them and hope that you can learn something too. All these books will be linked in the comments if you want to check them out later. So the first one is 30 Days to a Better YouTube Channel, a practical guide to creating a highly subscribable channel by Tim Schmoyer. If you know anything about YouTube, you probably would have come across Tim Schmoyer Video Creators. He has a wonderful book that lists 30 things for you to do over 30 days to optimize your YouTube channel. I found this book really helpful, and it was a great primer getting into YouTube and really maximizing my content and my channel. A few things stood out for me though was the importance of my channel's brand and communicating the value proposition that my customer or my viewer is going to receive from engaging with my content. So this really helped me learn and think about my channel banner, display images, and channel trailer, and helping my customers think about those things when they're seeking to promote their products and services on YouTube. Next is YouTube Secrets, the ultimate guide to growing your following and making money as a YouTube influencer. So one thing that really stood out for me in this book was just the amount of ways that one can monetize their video content on YouTube. So this gave me lots of ideas that helped me understand how I can best serve businesses by instructing them on different ways of monetizing their video content. Another thing that stands out with this book is their tips and tricks of video production. One thing they suggested is that you bulk shoot your videos. So when you set up your cameras and your lights, it can be quite time intensive. So when you do that, you should ideally be shooting 2 to 3 videos and just switch out your shirts and change your appearance slightly, so you give the illusion that it's been done at different times. However, you're shooting all on the same day. This really speeds up your workflow and helps you bring out content consistently. Another thing that's covered in this book, which I found very helpful, was the idea of tentpole marketing. So creating content around seasonal things like holidays, Christmas, Halloween, St. Patrick's Day. These things get a spike in engagement, a spike in search results during those times. They die down, but then they come back annually. So this is a very clever way of marketing your business by creating content around these tentpoles so that every year your video will appear in search, will be relevant, and will engage your customers. Next up is Eat That Frog, Get More of the Important Things Done Today by Brian Tracy. So the idea of this book is that you prioritize your tasks, and the tasks which will produce the best results for you, you tackle and achieve those first before going on to lesser tasks and goals. These tasks are usually the ones that you don't want to do. They're usually the ones that you procrastinate on, but they do produce the best results for you. So it's just about getting it done and not living by how you feel, but being intentional with your time. So after reading this book, I started to use Google Tasks and be really intentional about the things I would get done in the day. I've developed a system around this that I share with you in a video, which you can check out in the comments below. So next up is the Freelance Manifesto, a field guide for the modern motion designer. This book introduced me to the School of Motion podcast and also their website, where they have courses for motion graphics artists and designers to improve their skills. So one thing that stands out to me in this book is a quote by Joey Corman, where he explains that no one will pay you to do something you've never done before. So it's helped me understand that if I'm going to tell clients I can do this and I can do that, I better be able to demonstrate and show that I can do that. It also means when I'm showcasing my portfolio of work, I should be showing things that I like creating and that I want to be paid to create. Next up is Creative Inc., the ultimate guide to running a successful freelance business. This book is a little bit dated, came out in 2010, but it still has some very valuable resources and tips in it. There's a lot of testimonials in this and interviews, which I personally I'm not very fond of. So you could probably get through this book quite quickly if you just try to skim read it and pick out the meat from the bones. This book also is very much focused on American audiences, which isn't too useful to Europeans such as myself, but I still found it a good primer, a good introduction into freelancing, and got my head in the right space when approaching clients. The Challenger Sale: How to Take Control of the Customer Conversation. This book really taught me the importance of solution selling, understanding my customer, their needs, and how can I present a solution to their problem through my product or service. It then goes one step further, where you don't just offer solution, you then challenge your customer to take action on your product or service. Maybe challenge is a bit of a strong word to use. The word could be encourage, but the idea is that you're getting outside of your comfort zone and you're actually caring enough, or you're loving your partner or your customer enough to give them the thing that's going to help them, which is your product or service. The Personal MBA, Master the Art of Business. There's so much in this book and it's a great resource to have. You should definitely get this one and put it on your bookshelf and refer to it, because there's a lot of information in it. It's essentially a MBA in one volume. In this book, there's a section with a series of questions that helps you determine whether the product or service you have will actually be successful, as in, is there actually a market for it? That's really helpful when you're dealing with startups, is to understand, is there even a market for this product or service that I'm about to invest a whole bunch of time, money, and energy into? So it showed me the importance of market research before jumping in and starting a project. Another thing I took from this book are trade-offs, that not all jobs are what they seem to be. That you might have someone who might be earning a lot of money and appears to have a very successful and prosperous lifestyle, but there's trade-offs. Usually it comes with a price tag, it comes with maybe a strain on their relationships, or a strain on their personal health, or it comes with stress or a lack of freedom. So there's these things that need to be considered when pursuing your business and financial goals. So finally, the last book I read over the past 12 months was 6 Months to Six Figures by Peter Voog. Peter does a great job of explaining our culture of information overload. With the accessibility of the internet, there's so much great quality information that we are overloaded with it. There's so many places that we can go to get good information, but what's rather more important now is not the accessibility of this information, but is your ability to take action upon studying and learning that information. So it really helped me to slow down, not read as many books as maybe I aspire to intentionally read, but to rather slowly go through books and seek to apply the lessons I'm learning before moving on. Another thing this book told me to do is to set goals, which I never really thought of before. There's a really great section of how to set 6-month goals, which I found very helpful and very encouraging as I look back from the goals I had set, and was I able to achieve them? And in many cases I was. So this was very satisfying to do. If you've read these books, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below of what you took away from them, and if you recommend them or if you don't recommend them. If you're interested in reaching your customers with your products and services through video and digital media, check out SeanBradfordMedia.com. You can see some of the services I provide. Make sure to check out this next video where I explain how I use Google Tasks to stay productive.